Now the first part of the trail, from the trailhead to Glory Hole, is an old road trace, so it's pretty easy to follow. And it's downhill on the way in, but it's not too bad. The elevation change is not bad. I think, if I remember correctly, it's like 400 feet over a mile and a half or so. So it's kind of a gradual downhill, so it's a gradual uphill coming back, but it is all uphill coming back. Now when you get down and you start dropping down off the bench on this trail, it is a little more of a downhill slope here, but I think this one still would be fine for kids and anybody that's in reasonable shape. And it's a little chilly today with the wind, so I'm glad we're dropping down off that bench to get out of the wind a little bit. Just be aware that there is a couple of spots like this on the trail that are pretty steep going down, so they'll be pretty steep going back up. Just take your time. If you're out here in the heat, which we're not today, it's pretty cold with the wind blowing, but if you're out here in the heat, just bring plenty of water with you to hydrate and you should be okay. This is an interesting hike because we've been down here to Glory Hole, but we didn't go below Glory Hole. But we heard from a reliable source, none other than Tim Ernst himself, that there's some pretty beautiful areas below Glory Hole, so that's where we're going to explore today, on down into the creek drainage. Now we're getting to the creek crossing. This is where we cross the creek that goes on down and runs through Glory Hole. And it looks like there's a little water running. Not a lot, but should be enough to at least see that there's water running through the Glory Hole. So cross this creek, and then the trail kind of levels out for a while. So this is not a bad trail at all. Looks like there may be a waterfall over here. We may have to go check that out. Well, it looks like a faint trail over here, so obviously we're not the first people to notice that there's a waterfall over here, but yes, there is a waterfall. We didn't notice this the last time we were here. It looks like the trail goes down below the waterfall. Let's get down here and see if we can get a shot of it. A nice little waterfall that we found. We haven't even got to the Glory Hole yet. And there's another little bit of a creek crossing here. Sorry, not a trail crossing, a creek crossing. If I can keep from falling down from these rocks, we'll be okay. But you can see a lot of this trail is pretty flat, and being an old road trace, it's fairly wide, so you can get around most of the rocks and everything. This seems to be a popular trail these days. You can see over to our left, we're just following the creek. The road trace just follows the creek on down as we get closer to the Glory Hole. Here we are, arriving at the Glory Hole. There is a little water running through the creek. And go around to the side here where there's not any slick rocks. And this is the view from the top of the Glory Hole. You can see here down below, we're going to follow the creek on downstream and see what else we can find down there. Now we're going to go down below the Glory Hole. This is where it can get a little slick here, where the water runs down the trail. And it's a little steep to climb down below it. Let's go between these two rocks. And there's a way down here. So we're going to scramble down right between these rocks here. Just scoop that all down because my shoes are still a little wet. And here we are below the glory hole. Let me go over and see if I can get a shot up through the hole and try to avoid the drips coming off the bluff line, which makes the rocks extremely slick. Now we're going to come out here and head on off down the drainage and see what we can find. Huge boulders here. This is pretty freaking awesome. Thinking maybe when we get past all these boulders and everything, we can get back down to the creek. Hate those leaves. All right, so we're going to work on getting down to the creek here. Gonna have to do a little climbing down. Looks like right there you might have to climb over some boulders to get back to where we were, so we might have picked the easiest route. All right, so I'm down in the creek bed now. Now it looks like we're going to have to walk on some rocks, but doesn't look nearly as bad as what that other looked like. Alright, so I'm back on the other side of the creek safely. And it looks like we need to go up through here and around this, over some stickers and around this big rock. Ah, yeah, we can drop down right here. Careful. More climbing down. This doesn't look to be too bad. Not too steep. I must say, now we are truly getting lost in the Ozarks. This is freaking awesome, following this creek and exploring, finding new stuff we haven't seen. And we're going to try to explore up this drainage to the left here. Or at least look up there and see if there's something worth going up there to see, like a waterfall or something. We did run across that little cascade fall back there. Pretty cool. I don't see any water coming down from that drainage, so
no, I don't either.
Probably.
Is this another one coming out here?
Yep.
The main show is a little bit further down, wasn't it?
I think so. There's nice clear pools down here. And I always bring my survival straw in case for some reason run out of water, the water breaks, whatever. So I'll put a link to that in the description so you can get one of those, and you know, then you'll never be out of water as long as you've got something like this around, because it'll filter the water and filter any dangerous contaminants out of it, water assist, things like that. So I always carry that in my backpack, and I'll put a link to it in the description so you guys can get one too. I'll also put a link in the description to the camera that I'm using right now. It's an older camera, so it's a lot cheaper than the newer GoPro. This is the Fusion. But it tastes great. stills and videos, and it's a 360 camera, so great for action, adventure, things like that. And you can see it's doing a pretty good job with me scrambling over rocks and stuff here. And now we're going to have to go back across the creek for the umpteenth time. So we're almost to this other drainage that we were wanting to explore. Right around this corner here. And it looks like we're going to have to cross the creek again. There's a cool little pool down here. Wow, this is awesome. Look at this. And I can honestly say there's probably not very many people that have made it down this far when they came down the Glory Hole Trail. They turned around at the Glory Hole and never came back here. There's a drainage coming in from the right and one coming in from the left. So this is about as far as we're going to go. We're going to explore the drainage to the left, and it actually looks like there's some water coming in, so there may be a waterfall up there. So we're heading up this draw to the left, or to the right, I'm sorry. And there's definitely water running down from here. A beautiful clear pool. And a little bit of a waterfall running here. This will be cool if there'd been more rain, because it's definitely a cool little cascade waterfall. Alright, so I'm going to bushwhack up here and check this, where this water's coming from. Looks like there's a hole. Could be a cave, or it could be just a indention underneath the boulders. But it doesn't look too hard to get to, so while I'm here, I'm going to have to check it out, because I don't want to go back and then find out, whoa, there was a cool cave back in there that you didn't even get to. I'm going to at least go to where that big tree's falling down up here. And doesn't look like it's a cave, it's just where the rocks have collapsed in off the bluffs up here. The water runs out underneath it. So this GPS map 64ST is a really good GPS unit. Shows you the contours. You can zoom in and out on the map. You can add waypoints in before you go if you know the GPS coordinates, and that way you can just hit the find button and go right to them. So like I said, I'll put a link in the description, and that way, and if you purchase one of these, it also helps us to keep bringing you this type of content, so we really appreciate it. And as always, you know, if this is the end of the video, thanks for watching.